All right, you're listening to the Table 12 podcast. Danny Barr, Paul Marino, Rob, are you on the board? Sitting in front of the board, pushing buttons? What are you doing?
Sitting behind the board, Dan.
Sitting behind the board. Okay.
Okay. Hi, guys.
Or maybe it's the front.
I think you're in front of the board.
I am in front of it.
I don't want to, pick Peppa out of fly shit here.
It's right here.
Yeah, so the NCAAs are, winding up now. We got a Final Four. Well, tonight, the women, there's 2 games tonight to decide the women's Final Four, but the men's Final Four is set. It was some good games over the weekend. The one I watched first was the St. John's Duke game, which was Friday night, I believe.
Well, that was an Elite Eight game. Sweet 16 game.
Yeah, I just happened to I watched that one. St. John's couldn't match their offense. Duke was just a better offensive team. They played well, but they couldn't shoot as well. So Duke advanced in that to play Connecticut yesterday.
Yeah.
And they had a 19-point lead, Duke.
Yeah.
In the third,
15 at the half.
With 10 minutes, they had like a 9-point lead with 10 minutes to go, and UConn started hitting shots, and
they outscored them by 16 points in the second half.
Yep. And then 40 seconds left. Guy gave up the ball. It was a steal. Guy hits a shot. Mullins hit a shot at the buzzer with like .04,
which
left.
is
yeah. It's basically a buzzer shot because you can't do anything with it. But
like if they didn't have clocks that did tenths of a second, they wouldn't have known.
No, that rule came into effect many years ago when Trent Tucker played for the Knicks because there was a game.
Oh, Trent Tucker.
There was a game that he hit at the buzzer.
He owes me money.
There was a game that he hit at the buzzer, won a Knick game, and they said the clock. They didn't have the same technology as they did now. So they said, well, we're going to start. They put the rim around the basket. They have the light now.
Right.
And then they went in the last 10 seconds, they go to the tenths.
What year was that?
Oh, it had to be in the 80s. But I can't, it just came to mind while we were talking about it.
I don't remember the 80s.
But they played well. I mean, UConn's a good team.
Well,
and Duke is a good team.
Exciting for Bill Murray.
Yeah. Bill Murray's coach of UConn, assistant coach. So
Bill Murray's son.
Yep. So the Final Four for the men's is Duke, Illinois, and Arizona, Michigan on Saturday. And their championship game is the following Monday.
Arizona, Michigan, both 1 seeds.
Yep.
And it's a good Final Four.
It's a good Final Four. There's not really any surprises there other than, Duke was picked to go.
Yeah. But it's not a surprise that UConn is that, they're the number 2 seed. So,
I mean, it's a shame that somebody had to lose that game, as they say, is a cliche. But I mean, it was, but that guy, that 3-point shot that he took at the end was not just a over the line 3-pointer. That was it was close to the center court. It was on a logo of center,
Yeah.
And he drained it. Like it wasn't like a.
And he's a freshman, I heard.
Yeah. His name is Mullins. And it didn't bounce up and hit the rim 3 times. I mean, it just went in clean. And it was one of the best finishes you'll ever see in a college game. You know what I mean?
Was it Christian Laettner-like?
Better, I think. The only thing that's different, if you want to compare the 2 shots, Laettner's was closer, but he had to catch the ball, completely do a 360, and shoot it all in one motion, kind of. Where this guy got a good look. He got a good look.
It was a clean pass.
Clean pass.
Yeah.
So I think those are the 2 best shots I ever seen to finish a game.
Because was Laettner's shot to win the championship, or was Laettner's shot to get into the Final Four?
No, Laettner's shot was to get into the championship game.
Into the championship
That was on Final Four Saturday.
Okay.
And you know who threw the pass, right?
No.
Bobby Hurley.
Oh, that's right. I did know that.
Bobby Hurley took the ball out and threw the ball straight on the line, like where he could catch it. It's a perfect throw to center court.
I watched the 30 by 30 on that.
Okay.
It's a pretty good.
It's Bobby Hurley.
It's a pretty good show. Yeah, I did know that Bobby Hurley passed him the ball.
But all Duke had to do was hold on to the ball. I mean, they just.
I saw a split screen today of the shot on the upper screen and the Duke coach on the lower screen. Did you see that?
Yep.
And how he just turned his back and walked away.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a heartbreak. See, you can lose a game, but that was heartbreaking.
And, as a coach, you can only do so much.
Yeah.
Your players still have to, and I think that's what he was telling them to hold the ball.
The way you look at it in a situation like that is, as a coach, both coaches both teams were in a position to win in the last minute.
You
Just
did your
that
job.
Yeah, I mean, what else can you do? I mean, you can't get a better coaching job than Hurley did because they were down all those points.
But wasn't there something about fouling that the reason they passed the ball was because they couldn't foul. Wasn't there?
Well,
something?
they didn't want to. If they'd have fouled him in 3-point territory, then it would have been a 4-shot foul or 3-shot. I'm sorry, 3-shot foul. So if you would have hit him, if he'd have missed a shot and you'd have hit him and they called a foul, now he's got 3 foul shots. So they were guarding the 3-pointer, but he didn't go up to the 3-point line.
UConn was defending until the tip.
No, I mean, I'm talking about the last shot of the game.
Right. So at that point,
Duke didn't want to foul him in 3-point, but they pushed him so far out. And this Mullins kid said, "You know what? This is the best I'm going to get." And he had a good look. He lined it up, and like I said, it was a clean shot that went in straight.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful.
It wasn't like it bounced 40 times and went in. Not that still wouldn't have counted, but I mean, he shot that from 5 feet from the center court line. I mean, he went in. He wasn't in far, you know. So you got your Final Four for next weekend, and we'll see how that goes. I don't know who's favored yet. I haven't seen anything on that.
Both games on Saturday,
both games are on. One's at 6, one's at 9:30, and then Sunday they're off, and then the championship game is Monday. So I think that's April. I want to say April 4th.
Don't these people know I go to bed at 9:00?
No, I don't think they really care.
Jesus.
You could DVR it, but you know,
I don't have a DVR anymore.
Oh. Well, it doesn't. I think one of the streamers. You got enough streamers. Yeah. They're on one of them. I don't know if they're on. They might be on Peacock. If I had to take a guess.
I have trouble watching a sporting event when I already know the result.
Me too. So then the women's played yesterday. Now there's 2 games tonight. South Carolina TCU, I believe, is tonight, and Michigan. No, South Carolina and TCU, I think, play tonight.
Texas against Michigan.
Texas against Michigan is today.
Yeah, South Carolina beat TCU.
Right, so it's Michigan, Texas, TCU, South Carolina, and UConn and UCLA are already in.
They're in.
So they play each other next week. So the winner of tonight's card, those 4 teams, Michigan, Texas, TCU, South Carolina, 2 of them will play each other.
Right.
And, you know, South Carolina, they're pretty good. They're not as good as they were in the past. So I'm not sure who's favored in the game tonight with
they're a 1 seed.
TCU.
South Carolina.
I don't know if they'd be favored. If they're favored against, would they be favored against UConn if they win? They might not be. I don't know. UConn is 38. No, they're 25th under Gino Auriemma. Their 25th Final Four appearance. 17 out of the last 18 games they've been there.
It's crazy.
And they got Sarah Strong. She's only a sophomore. And she's breaking all the UConn records. She had a great game, over 20. She's got size. She's good.
Is Maria still involved with them?
No, because she doesn't work for SNY anymore. SNY lost the contract. So SNY don't even cover him anymore. She sees him when she goes to, like, the Big East tournament or something. Like, she'll go in to see them, and she talks to the coach.
She's known Gino for years.
Yeah. She used to do shows with Gino up in Connecticut. Right. So we got to see what happens there. I don't know.
Dawn Staley she's going to get into the Hall of Fame for a second time because she's in the Hall
as a player.
Yeah, she's going to get in the Hall as a coach.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she's a good coach.
I mean, she's angry.
Yeah, not one of my favorites, but that's
right.
All right.
But she's a hell of a coach, and she's been, South Carolina's been a threat for 2 decades because of her.
Yeah. So that game was a 70-52 score, and then the UCLA game against Duke, 70-58. It really wasn't a close game. UCLA was behind in the first half. They came back and they stormed, and they pretty much controlled the rest of the game. So that's next weekend. So that I believe that I'm not sure. I think that'll be a Sunday. I think that's going to be a Sunday championship game, not Monday. because Monday will be the men.
It's the other thing I hate. I don't watch much basketball,
Mhm.
but I usually watch the Final Four, the tournament. Championship games, 9 o'clock Monday.
By the time it tips off, it's like a 9:20.
It's a work night.
Yeah.
Alarm goes off at 4:30. I'm not staying up.
No, I don't blame you. But there'll be a time when next year at this time, you can watch it.
The only time I ever stayed up for a championship game was with Seton Hall.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. Oh, that's got to be 20 years ago, over 20
Longer
years.
than that.
So that's the only time I've ever stayed up for the whole game.
So that's the NCAA thing. Last night the Knicks played. Every time they play a game against a team, a playoff type of team, they don't do well. I mean, they were in the game until the last 2 or 3 minutes. They played Oklahoma City last night, and they lost 111-100. They can't beat the higher teams. They're like, I don't know, 0 for 8 against OKC and Detroit. And I mean, they have a good team, but they're going to have to really show me something. I don't know if they're going to be able to put it together for the playoffs, but they're not doing well against the teams that are playoff bound.
Well, maybe they need to fire their coach again.
Well, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, because you're right. I like the other coach. The other coach didn't play as many people. Thibodeau. This guy, I can't knock him. I mean, the thing is, they got the same amount of wins as they had last year. But maybe the team will be more rested going into the playoffs. But so far, it's not showing up on the court when they're playing a team, especially on the road. They're really having trouble on the road beating a playoff team.
Did Thibodeau ever get another job?
No, he's not going to. You know why?
Right. Knicks are paying him.
They're paying him for 5 more years. They gave him an extension before the last year. I wouldn't take a job.
Well, if it's more money or if he just wants to do it.
Well, but you could take it.
He might not like sitting home.
You could.
Is he an analyst?
Well, no. Here's what he did, and they showed him. So what does he do? He goes up. He's helping the Boston Celtics as a consultant. Now he could do that.
He can do that without violating his contract.
You can't take a head coach job unless you want to forfeit your money. But I guess if you really want to do it, you're going to get paid for the new team. But I'd make it hurt for the Knicks for a little while.
Well, isn't it the same type of deal? Like if he was able to take a job with another team
as an assistant,
then no, as a head coach.
Yeah.
And let's just say it's a little less than what the Knicks are paying him to sit home.
Yeah.
The Knicks would have to pay him the difference.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But he could go coach for another team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's released, but he's still under contract.
Right. So if he's making $1 million a year and gets a job making $750,000 a year, the Knicks would have to pay him $250,000 a year.
Yeah, but he was making I don't know if he was making millions, but yeah.
I'm trying to use easy numbers.
Yeah, whatever the number is.
I'm not very bright.
The Knicks would still have to pay the difference.
Okay.
You're right.
I need whole numbers. Okay. I only work in tens.
You would have, they'd have to pay the difference.
Okay.
Like if they took a lesser job, but I don't see it. But baseball came in and started up. Dan, are you excited for baseball?
Well, they beat the Giants.
They held the Giants to one run in 3 games.
The pitching was good.
Was pretty good. The hitting was okay.
I didn't understand them taking, and I'm not going to know people's names.
And we're talking about the Yankees, by the way.
I'm not going to know people's names yet, okay? So just bear with me.
Yeah.
But the first game, maybe because it was the game 1, they took him out after 5.5 innings.
Max Fried.
And he pitched 1 hit, gave up 1 hit, shut out.
Because they're still they're not stretched out yet.
And he only had less than 80 pitches.
Yeah.
But they took him out.
Because they're not at 100 yet. He'll be at 100 the next game.
All right, thank God, because I was worried.
That was Max Fried. He pitched well, but and the Mets, they played the Pirates.
They won 2 out of 3.
They really should have lost 2 out of 3, but they won 2 out of 3. They're playing. They should have lost the second game. We'll see. It's only
Table 12 was represented at the home opener.
Oh, they had a great day.
Beautiful day. Perfect day. It was a great game. It was an exciting game.
Yeah, it was.
Did they stay for the whole thing?
I think they stayed to the bottom of the 8th. I think. Well, the game.
They saw some home runs. They saw. It was.
Yeah, listen, it's the Mets. You know what I mean? What can't be exciting? It's got to be exciting.
They could have went to Augusta and watched the game there.
Yeah. No, they had their full complement of a full day of tailgating and stuff.
Yeah, good for them. Flags up.
It was up, and look, what are you going to do after 3 games? Doesn't mean nothing with the Yankees. It's 3-0, they're 2-1. It takes a long ways to go. As I was telling a good friend of mine here, Okay, recently. Everybody wins 60 games. Everybody loses 60 games. It's the 62 in between. That's going to decide how you go.
There you go.
If you go 40 and 40
very,
and 22,
very prolific.
you're 162. That's all you got to do. You got to win this. You got to do.
But you also have to do it in the right division. Because in some divisions, you can win 90 games and not make the playoffs.
Not now. Not the way this playoff system is. We're adding an extra team. You win 90 games, you're in.
Now, yeah.
Yeah, because they added the extra. Yeah, the extra wild card.
Right.
I'll give you an example. The Mets were 82 and 79, I think, last year, and they missed by one game to get in.
Right. It's a 500 team, basically.
It's a 500 team. So I mean, baseball's in full swing. The Mets are at St. Louis
Judge
today.
hit 2 dingers.
He had 2 dingers. The Mets are in St. Louis, and the Yankees are on the West Coast playing Seattle in the next 3 games.
Yeah. Yankees home opener on a Friday.
Yeah.
So last week I brought up how they used to do it on a Monday.
Yeah, but I went to a Good Friday game in 1998. The Yankees started on the road, and I went to the Good Friday game. It was a Good Friday opening day, and the Yankees won 17. I could tell you the score: 17-12. The Yankees won. If you're interested.
Well, it was
in
a
the
pitcher's
score.
duel.
Yeah.
Is that it with baseball?
Yeah, we're pretty much. We're just getting rolling. More to come.
Yeah, like another 159 games. Gary Woodland won the Houston Open this weekend.
Yeah.
Feel good story. I didn't get to watch as much as I would have liked. I watched some on Sunday. But excuse me. He was 21 under for the tournament, which is pretty damn respectable. And he had 26 birdies. But 2.5 years ago, he had a brain tumor removed. 2.5 years ago.
Wow.
And life-threatening surgery.
Wow.
Wrote letters to his wife and kids in case he didn't survive. 4 months after the surgery, he was playing golf again.
That's crazy.
And this weekend he won. And he had a video go viral. So the Phoenix Waste Management Open, it's an early tournament. It's in Scottsdale. We talked about it. It's a raucous experience, right? So he invited a young girl out onto the course, par 3.
Mm-hmm.
She had Down syndrome. And she's in her golf garb, and you could tell she's into it and everything. So he invited her out, and got her a set of clubs. Says, "You want to play the hole with me?" And she's like, "Yeah." There's a gallery.
Yeah.
Okay. And she hit a beautiful shot, fell just short of the green into the sand trap. So they're walking up, and he says to her, "You want me to give you a better lie, or do you want to play it?" She goes, "No, I want to play it." Hits a beautiful shot out of the sand trap, and then dropped the putt for par. She parred the hole.
That doesn't make you feel good,
does it? No, it's fine. She was in better shape than me.
Yeah.
But Gary Woodland's the one that got her to do that.
That's pretty cool.
So it goes to show you the kind of guy that was in he won the U.S. Open in 2019. So he's a good golfer. But yeah, 2.5 years ago, brain tumor.
That's beating the odds. Good for him.
So, and on the other side of that, Tiger Woods. We got to bring Tiger Woods up.
I was going to ask you if you didn't bring it up.
It's a sad story.
Man, can you get a driver? I mean, you should never have to drive anywhere. That's number one.
The same thing could be said for Justin Timberlake, who got arrested out in the Hamptons last year for drunk driving. These people, their egos are in such a place.
Yeah, but he almost lost his life in the last one.
Right. But their egos are in. He got a DUI in 2017 and then rolled his SUV down the hill in 2021.
Yeah.
That basically almost lost his leg.
Yeah.
But their egos just don't allow them to get drivers. Me, I would have been driven here if I could have.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's my point.
I
I think he has a addiction to painkiller problem.
think it's probably.
I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on television, but
right. I don't like speculating. But I mean, his breathalyzer was 0.0. So, no, there's something else going on with him. I think it's just sad.
yeah, I feel bad for him.
He needs help. He needs help. And I'm sure someone with an ego like his, it's tough for him to admit he needs help.
What happens just like happened to Prince. It happened to, we have friends.
Tom Petty.
We have friends that we knew. I know we have a mutual one. They get hooked on the back surgery. You get hooked on stuff, and then the pain is bad, and you can't control it, and you get out of hand with that. It's easy for that to happen.
Yeah,
by just getting a surgery if you have the wrong situation. I lost a couple of friends, from where I used to work. Same thing, and
well, Chevy Chase ended up in rehab from back surgery because of the pills.
Yeah,
Tom Petty died of it. Prince died of it. It's a serious thing.
Yeah,
and it's too easy to get.
Yeah, and Prince didn't even drink when in the beginning. He was taking. You know how he used to jump off the speakers and all.
Right.
That's how he hurt his hips, and then he had to have surgery and everything.
Well, that's Chevy Chase with all the pratfalls on SNL.
Yeah,
he injured his back, and that's how his problems. Well, he's got attitude problems, but
yeah,
his addiction problems started. So yeah, tough story.
How's that going to affect? Because they were talking about him for the Ryder Cup being the captain. Or
yeah, I have no idea.
I don't know. It's too far down the line.
I mean, the Masters is in 2 weeks.
I don't know.
No, in a week.
I don't
basically.
think he's going there. Do you?
I
wouldn't think
he
so.
was expected to.
He was expected to.
Whether he does now or not, I'd be surprised if he did.
Yeah.
But
so when real quick, I mean, you had mentioned a subject on the managers and uniforms in baseball.
Yeah. So my question is, why is baseball the only sport where, number one, the coaches are called managers, where in other sports the managers are sitting on the bench keeping score,
Because
and they wear uniforms.
I think the reason why, don't forget, baseball started in the early 1900s, serious baseball. And I think that's just a terminology used. Well, he's going to manage the team, and it just stuck. And also, in the beginning, a lot of the players were managers. A lot of people, they would go in and play an inning or two. Or
I understand that.
Yeah.
But you know what?
They're not going to change it because it's a
basketball's over 100 years old. Football's over 100 years old. You go into the Jet game, look at the Ring of Honor, and Weeb Eubanks is up there with a hat because he didn't wear a uniform.
I think because of baseball, again, basketball is basketball got serious in the 60s, late 50s, early 60s. And they used to play 4 games at Madison Square Garden all day. They didn't play nationwide.
But the coaches always wore suits.
Right. Football, the coaches always wore suits. Always. Until
the 60s.
Oh, they wore, probably till Dan Reeves.
Chuck Noll didn't wear a suit.
Dan Reeves, I didn't say they all did. I said most of the coaches wore suits. Tom Landry, Vince Lombardi, they all did. The last 2 to wear a suit was a guy by the name of Mike Noll, coached the 49ers, and he wanted to keep wearing a suit. He used to do it because his father wore a suit. He was a coach in the league. And the other was Dan Reeves. Dan Reeves wanted to emulate Tom Landry.
Right.
So those were the last 2. Now,
but they're not dressed for the game. Like baseball managers are dressed for the game. And I don't think anyone was putting Lasorda into pinch run.
No, no, but I think I gave you the answer to that. I think it was
tradition.
Yeah. Now the NFL no longer lets you wear a suit. They want you in team garb. They want the
logos.
They want all the sponsor logos involved. You can't wear a suit. They say you can't get on the field wearing a suit.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't like the way Belichick dressed for a game.
No, he looked terrible.
He looked like a slob. The collared shirts, the wind shirts, the sweatshirts that are, they look nice. that's fine.
Now,
But to me, I think when you look at a sideline and there's 50 people standing there, you should know who the coach is.
Yeah.
Like just by how they look.
the college basketball, some people wear suits and some people wear,
Polo shirts.
yeah, or like,
golf shirts.
UConn Duke shirt,
Right.
Pros, I've noticed the pros, they're all wearing team stuff now. Rick Pitino, for college, he's wearing a suit. Like, I don't think there's any regulation in that. Hockey, everybody wears a suit because they're on the bench behind the bench anyway. They don't have to
Right.
put on the hockey uniform. So
To me, it gives an air of authority.
now, are you saying because you should wear a suit or you shouldn't?
I think that baseball managers should wear team garb like the football coaches wear. I just don't understand them being in uniform.
Well, like now, you don't see Aaron Boone doesn't wear the Yankee shirt. He wears a pullover,
Right, and Mattingly does too.
and but he has
Right.
he has the Yankee pants on, but he wears a pullover. He doesn't have the uniform on with his number on.
I just find it odd. It's the only sport. It's the only sport where they're dressed for the game.
Yeah, but again, they're in the dugout.
They even wear cleats.
Yeah, but they go on the field.
I guess for the jog for the.
I really believe it goes back to 1905. He's the manager, and they all just wore it just stayed. It stayed. There's no sense. You're not going to go wear a suit and go on the field, take a picture out.
Don't get me wrong. I would have loved to have seen Lasorda pinch run.
Yeah, I mean,
Don Zimmer.
Can you name any? I can name you a couple of player managers that were managers and played at one point. Can you?
No,
Joe Torre was a player manager for the Mets, and I believe, what was his name?
but they're actually getting in the game.
Robinson, who played for Cincinnati.
Frank.
Frank Robinson was a player manager, I believe, with Cincinnati. They weren't playing the whole. At the end of their what I'm saying, at the end of their career,
Right.
they say they were a player manager. You can go in.
Well, Dan Reeves was a player coach, wasn't he?
No.
I thought
He was on the Dallas Cowboys with Landry, and then he went to Denver.
But I thought he didn't have
No, head coach didn't.
No, not head coach. But I thought he was the last player coach.
head coach.
No, player coach.
Maybe he was. Maybe he was listed as Dallas Cowboy assistant. I don't know because Landry was there. I don't think so, but I could be wrong.
I doubt.
I know that he got his start as an assistant coach under Tom Landry when he first came out, stopped playing. It's possible maybe his last year he was still on the roster and he was
Right.
starting to coach. That's a good possibility. So I hope that sums it up for you. I don't know. I know that the National Football League does not allow you to wear a suit anymore. You can't wear you have to wear the team stuff.
That's because they sell the.
Well,
sell
the sponsors
ads.
want everything on. They want
Right.
you wearing, you're the giant head
Yeah.
coach, but they want you wearing
the
something.
Nike.
Yeah.
They want that swoosh
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. But I think it was a great topic that you brought up. I think it was interesting to look into it. So kudos to you, Dan.
Well, gee, thanks, Paul.
I want to give you a bump every now and then. What do you think,
Yes.
Rob?
Still awake.
All right. What'd you think of the topic, huh?
Not a big sports guy.
I know. You're more of a TSA guy. Okay.
If it were up to Rob, baseball players would have 30 patches of Pennzoil on the
Yes,
on the back.
That's true.
That's right. And only turn left.
Hey, listen. Have a good Easter.
Well, they do. That is they only run to the left in baseball.
Have a good trip.
Okay, you know
Probably
what?
Yeah,
see
okay,
you.
I
Nothing.
get it.
He's not
Nothing.
responding.
Well, how about you? Jesus,
I'm talking enough. I thought you were trying to get
you
a
were
rise out of
brutal
him.
today. You were.
You're
brutal.
out of your mind. I'm not a NASCAR guy.
I feel like I'm doing this show with a hologram.
You're like, you beat a dead horse sometimes.
Well, I'm not going to beat a live one. That would be cruel.
All right. Have a good weekend.
Say it.